Welcome to Owning a Piece of America. I'm Faith Bautista. How do you like to visit Mongolia? We're gonna have this presentation, this interview with Minister Councilor Bold-Erdene Yadamsuren. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can you please tell us about the country of Mongolia?
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about my country, Mongolia. It's a country located in Northeast Asia. Many people have no idea in Asia Mongolia is located, but I would like to say that it is a Northeast Asian country located in between Russian Federation and People's Republic of China. And we have capital city called Ulaanbaatar. Almost half of the Mongolian population lives in the capital city. And we have 21 provinces, and rest of the population lives in the other provinces.
And do you speak only one language there in Mongolia?
Mongolian is official language, but also in the western Aimag provinces we call Aimag. There's Kazakh ethnics live there, so
yes.
we have people speaking Kazakh language there too.
Tell me, why should I go to Mongolia?
So you can experience the natural beauty, and Mongolia is rich of everything. You can experience there, like to the south of Mongolia, there's second largest Gobi Desert. For example, in the north, we have like high mountains and forests. Speaking about east to the west, also the east side is more steppes, but to the west, it's high mountains, lakes. It's very beautiful lake. I would like to invite you to go there and see the beauty of the Huskud Lake. That's the second largest source of pure water in the world.
Wow. And so people can swim, fishing, because there's no ocean in Mongolia.
Yeah, it's a landlocked country and we have no access to the ocean, but we fortunately can have swimming or fishing in different rivers. People can swim there, but it's quite
very cold
compared to the beach here.
Yeah. So Mongolian people came to the United States, and it's only in the 1990s, right?
So Mongolians started to come into the U.S. There was links earlier, but now these days people who are living here, most of them started to come in the late 1990s or 2000s. Mongolia was a communist country before 1990s, but with the Mongolia's transition to democracy and market economy in 1990s, people were allowed to move to foreign countries, or people basically had the right to movement. In 1990s, people started come to the U.S., and at this date, as of today, people are still coming, for different reasons. Coming here for studying, working, and living here. Nowadays, we estimate we have roughly more than 40,000 Mongolians living in the U.S.
So there are 40,000 Mongolians in the United States. When they come here, are they speaking English already? Are they professionals? I mean, tell us about the Mongolians in the United States.
People are coming with the different levels of English knowledge, of course. People who are learning English much in academic level so that they can teach English when they go back home. And also we have high-level software engineers. For example, they're going to this renowned universities here. We have some students are going to high Ivy League schools, for example, universities. We have Mongolians graduating from Harvard University,
Yeah.
MIT, Columbia University and stuff. So it depends. They have all in majoring in all different majors.
And how's their assimilation? Do they assimilate faster than any other groups? Don't go away. Owning a Piece of America. We'll be right back. And how's their assimilation? Do they assimilate faster than any other groups?
I have less knowledge about the other communities, other countries' communities, but basically Mongolians are doing pretty good. Like we are very hospitable people, Mongolians, and that also reflects when they come to here. For example, we have no earlier ancestors or earlier generations here. So, whenever newcomers come here, we try to help each other and, teach them the way of American living, have to live here, the rules to follow, like have to open up the bank accounts, for example. But as for the embassy, we are, of course, concentrated on bilateral relationship between the United States and Mongolia in all different sectors, like political, economic, culture, education, like many other areas. And also we have the consular service here at the embassy, which gives Mongolian living here when they need, for example, their passports expired, or they need to write some apostille letter back to capital, back to Mongolia.
Right.
We are here to help them to provide the state services.
Is the Mongolian embassy only in Washington, D.C.? Do you have that in other states?
We have 4 diplomatic missions in the United States. We have embassy in Washington, D.C., and we have a consulate general in San Francisco. And also recently we opened up a consulate in Chicago. We have like over 10,000 Mongolians living in greater Chicago area. And the 4th diplomatic mission is, of course, in New York. That's our permanent mission to the United Nations.
Minister Counselor, is it cheaper to go to Mongolia rather than other countries?
So I could say yes. Like domestic hotels, the entertainments, the food, everything is a lot more cheaper comparing to many other countries.
Wow.
And very organic, the food, if you consume the meat. Because those 70 million livestock pastured in the pasture land,
God,
they're
so
not fed.
you're right. Wow.
They're not fed.
Yeah. And how delicious that could be. Can you invite our viewers to visit Mongolia?
I just want to invite everybody to visit Mongolia. It's a land of eternal blue sky, we call it. More than 2/3 of the days year-round, there is no clouds in the sky, the land of eternal blue sky. So in Mongolia, as I had mentioned earlier, you can experience everything. You can see like a modern metropolitan city, but also from the east, the steppe, to the west, high mountains, to the south, from the Gobi Desert, to the north, the high hills and beautiful lakes.
I'm ready to go.
Mongolia.
So let's go. Thank you again for having this interview with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned. Our field correspondent, Mary David, will be right up.
Empowering others begins with empowering ourselves in health, finance, and career. At the Go, Grow, Glow conference, hosted by the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce GLA, leaders celebrated top Filipino entrepreneurs and shared tools to connect personal and professional success.
The this is my personal passion, you know, advocating for women, for AAPI, for Filipinos. And it's just, you know, we don't give ourselves enough credit. I think, you know, I always say if you're not invited to the table, if you're not invited to the stage, create your own stage. So I got inspired by that. I'm like, you know what? It's time to highlight the top 50 influential Filipinas, the women who are successful in our community, and we just got this amazing response. And I'm blessed and overwhelmed.
What was the inspiration behind health, wellness, and beauty being the focus for this?
Sure. Well, we know during the pandemic, it's been very hard on a lot of people. And then, you know, wellness has become a focus of many, especially the entrepreneurs who struggled really hard, especially the women-owned businesses, AAPI, Filipino businesses. So this is really, you know, continuing that conversation for that.
Why is it important for non-Filipinas to be interested in and engaged in these kinds of conversations?
Sure. No, absolutely good question. Because if y'all did not know that LA is actually the second largest population of Filipinos outside Manila. So that's a big population. And what it means is like a stronger purchasing power. So if you connect with the chamber, with the Filipino American Chamber, you connect with our community, that is your customer base right there.
Building these connections are fully realized in spaces like this, but they start within our work. Dr. Fatima Bustos Choi's success as vice president at Citibank prompted her to start a consultancy focused on helping people find their true selves. Dr. Fatima Bustos Choi, tell us how and when you became passionate about holistic care.
I've always been a proponent of good health. You know, even for the longest time, I would always go to the gym. I ran 2 marathons. And I watch what I eat and all of that. So I'm a proponent of good health.
For people who just feel like they are so busy and they don't feel like they have the time to incorporate things like mindfulness into their routine, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I think that, you know, oftentimes we think these are such hard things to do, right? But when you think about it and you boil it down, it can be as simple as breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. It could be as simple as just stopping and just count to 3. You know, something simple, very simple like that. And then start to kind of create new habits. Don't worry about changing, and a habit is it's not going to happen. True health is really holistic, caring for our body, our mind, our hearts, our energy, but most of all, our soul.
Caring for our hearts, souls, and health can look many different ways, but experts say they're connected. Ann Menick turned to holistic therapies through a long struggle with a disability. She is the founder of Women's Wellness That Works. What would you say to the skeptics who don't believe in holistic wellness and non-traditional modalities?
It's actually, you know, it's whatever works for you. It can be both. It's complementary. I believe alternative and holistic and functional complements what you're already doing now. If you are using allopathic or Western medicine, basically it's a combination of all, because you know what? There's never just one fix. It's a combination of different modalities to heal you.
It can be so demoralizing for many people to continue to seek out treatment when they feel like ones that they've tried haven't worked. Mm-hmm. How did you develop that courage and the strength to just continue looking for treatment until you found something that worked for you?
That's a great question. I think for me, I knew that I had to do everything in my power to get better, to heal, because I wanted to live for my daughter. And, you know, taking care of yourself should always be a priority, right? So it's not a selfish thing. So for me, my motivation is my daughter, my family, and the women that I surround myself with. So that inspires me to become a better woman, a better mother, a better sister, a better friend, and to be in service to my community.
Can you talk a little bit about culturally how to overcome some barriers that can come up in having those conversations? I'm even just thinking of my own parents and my dad.
You know, that's really interesting because I know when I first started in holistic health, I think my family thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? Are you in a cult or something? So I think now it's been 22 years since I've been in this business. They now turn to me because they know from research and knowledge and doctors and information that practicing alternative or holistic, even natural medicine is actually helpful for us in the long run. So I think by being an example first, I think my family has come to me now and actually asked me questions. Well, what should I do about this? What should I do? And they actually think in a more natural way versus going towards medication or surgery right away. So, you know, the mindset has shifted.
Can you tell us about some of the products that you have and how they have helped other people?
Oh, so I actually created a breathing app called Your Essential Breath. And when I had gone through my wellness journey, my breath was the thing that I was most grateful for because every breath that I take allows me to live and be alive. Breathing is essential to life. So I created a breathing app, a breathing e-course, and breathing affirmation cards. So it reminds us to be mindful and make sure that we breathe on a daily basis.
Mindful meditation instructor Kalika Yap says centering within ourselves and really knowing who we are crucial to success.
Why is it important for all women to get a copy of the Little Brand book and have a brand, even if they don't feel like they're promoting one intentionally?
Well, in order for you to be a successful brand, it's really important to know who you are, what you do, and why it matters. And the Little Brand book allows you to discover your unique talent so that you can succeed in the world.
Why is it important for all women to be coached and get leadership training, not just early on in their careers, but throughout?
Well, if you have not ever been an entrepreneur before, just like if you've never driven to Miami before, it's important to have a GPS, some type of guide to be able to get you through the journey. Otherwise, you'll be taking a lot of wrong turns. When you have a leadership coach, someone who really cares about you, then they can lead you to the right path.
By embarking on the path of success for ourselves, not only do women who rightfully deserve a seat at the table prosper, but they take everyone with them.
If you support women, empower women, you will never fail.
Up next, Filipina business owners discuss financial wealth.
The Go, Grow, Glow conference hosted by the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce featured an array of business leaders who shared how to build financial wealth. Ellen Sampson is founder and strategic leader of American Care Geriatric Incorporated and 2 other successful companies. She says wealth comes from seeking to create real connections and truly investing in people first.
It starts with being able to go and meet and mingle with your own community, be open. So I joined the Chambers of Commerce and I consider this not a hunting ground for business, but more of a farmland where I try to cultivate relationships. Because you know, some people go to the chambers of the community just to be hunters. That's why people don't listen to them, because who wants to be hunted? But if you build a relationship and consider the community a farmland where you could till relationships, that's it. It's going to give you crops. So partnerships are being forged because of that they know you. And through partnerships, you build trust. And in the healthcare system, you have most of the caregivers and most of the care providers come from our community, the Filipinos.
Make it happen, make us matter. It's not just a COFAC event, it's an event for the Filipino community.
Sampson is one of the top 50 Filipina business leaders who was honored at the event. The honorees also included Dr. Aimee Ong Maghanoy, who says her Filipino upbringing shapes her view of success. She emphasized how the caregiving aspect of Filipino culture can also be channeled inward.
I'm so proud being a Filipino American that made it to the industry, and I love to educate people, and we Asian or Filipino, we're very we have so much to share, like when it comes to skills, your education, and we're hardworking people. They said some of them like started like as caregivers, which is that's all most of us, but we can do more than that. Like as doctor, nurses, we're all caregivers. We take care of our family, but then you can also like encourage individual, like there's so much you can do, like health is wealth, which I totally agree. And I'm in that industry. When I share with my client, looking good, when you come to me for body treatment, looking good is a bonus, but it's all about health. So it's really very important to take care of your health.
Love yourself, because when you love yourself, it's easy to be compassionate to everyone around us.
Like Dr. Alang Hanoi, many of the speakers connected with bringing the American dream to life. Delina Calderon-Nurnberg is the founder and CEO of multiple successful companies and has created opportunities for many who have immigrated to the U.S.
I meet a lot of people who come to the country, just like me when I first started, like having nothing and just wanting to create a good life in the U.S. And there's this one guy who came to us actually, and he was a young family. Nothing much in their pockets when they came in, and he wanted to just work here and all. So I hired him, and one of the things that when I hired him and he worked for us as a client care manager, this was when we were starting the franchising. He realized that the business that we had and the system that we had was really working. So he decided to buy a franchise for himself. I mean, all he got at that time was just the guts, and the determination to succeed. And that's one of the things that we Filipinos are really, could be proud of, that, even if we don't have nothing, but we have the work ethics and the determination to succeed. And he did that, so he got a franchise, followed the system, and now you wouldn't believe where he's at right now. I mean, he's leading a good life, living his American dream. And for me, that's one of the things that I'm just really proud to see people like that. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of them who are also like that among our franchisees.
Calderon-Nurnberg says that wealth comes out of dreaming big and investing in larger assets.
There's time for you to save your money and later on invest, not in purses or jewelry or shoes that you cannot make more money on. Okay? Put it aside and set it aside so that you can dream bigger. Dream of a house instead of a Louis Vuitton purse.
There's so much changes in the healthcare, and you have open mind in accepting change. You should not resist it.
Changing our approaches to finance can be a challenge, but our speakers say the payoff is worth it.
Thank you for tuning in to Owning a Piece of America. I'm Faith Bautista. Take your piece.